Good afternoon, Fairbanks. It's a beautiful day for a forum. Yay! So welcome to our 2025 Fairbanks North Star Borough School District Candidate Forum. Yay! Come on, you guys gotta get out there. Before we go any further, I want to invite Pastor Derek up to the stage to lead us in an invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Thanks, Pastor Derek. Yay! There's only that much today.
Let's pray. Dear God, we thank you for this time together. Lord, we are grateful for the relationships here at the Chamber. Lord, we thank you for those who put themselves out there and serve this community and run for different public offices. And Lord, we certainly acknowledge the importance of the schools. We just ask for your blessing on them. In the name of Jesus, amen. Join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Derek. A special thanks to all the Chamber staff. Where's the Chamber staff? Wave your hand. Chad's right there. Donald. Where's Jasmine? Bree. Woo! We appreciate you guys. Also want to acknowledge the Workforce Development Education Committee members. Could you stand and be acknowledged? Because I love clapping. Yay! And any additional volunteers that helped with today's programming. I also like to thank the Chamber's executive partners for their generous financial support. These partners are proudly displayed on the banners on the stage and also on the screen above. These members go above and beyond their financial support with membership, allowing us to fulfill our mission, which is so important in this community. A big thank you to our 2025 Candidate Forum Series presenting sponsor, Denali State Bank. Where are you, Denali? So aside from the candidates who will be on the stage today, I want to recognize other elected officials and candidates that are here in the room today. So could you please stand and introduce yourself? Donald has a microphone. Oh, who's that guy? What do you have on your table?
Everybody loves Star Wars. Borough Mayor Grier Hopkins. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Grier.
Loa Carol Hubbard, School Board.
David Christopher Cruz, Mayor Fairbanks.
Mike Prox, State Representative of District 33, North Pole.
Morgan Dulian, School Board.
Bobby Burgess, School Board.
Lil Nixon School Board.
Crystal Tidwell, Fairbanks City Council.
Yay!
Ginny Olson, candidate for Assembly Seat C.
Tim Doran, School Board.
Ashley Carrick, West Fairbanks State House.
Thank you. That's it, no one else?
I'm really sad Anton Keller's not here. This might be the first luncheon he's missed this entire year. And now, so we can get straight into this forum, I would like to introduce our forum moderator. She's the Senior Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer for Denali State Bank. Please help me in welcoming Victoria Denning. Woo!
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much, Angie. I will try to channel as much enthusiasm as you bring to these. And I appreciate that photo. That's a surprise. I didn't know that was going to be there, but thank you for doing that. So welcome, everyone. I am pleased to moderate today's discussion with our candidates. And out of respect of time, let's get started by welcoming all the candidates to the stage. If you would please make your way up to the stage. Okay, excellent. For seat C, we have Audra Hull and Samitria Spencer, who we have approval to call Sam, Miss Sam Spencer. And for seat D, Melissa Burnett and Naomi Hewitt. Candidates, thank you for joining us. In addition to our prepared questions, we should have some time to address a few audience questions. So those of you in the audience, you should see on the table, there's a small black and white piece of paper titled Audience Question. If you would like, between now and a few minutes, pose a question, and members of the chamber staff will be around. Hold up your question card, and a member of the chamber staff will grab it. As a reminder, questions on topics relevant to the subject of this forum will be prioritized. So please keep your question on topic to ensure a productive discussion. And for my own benefit, if you would please make sure your handwriting is legible, that would be super helpful to me. Also, please help us respect our candidates and the chamber by refraining from responses other than your applause at the conclusion. This allows us the maximum time to hear from the candidates. Now to the candidates, a little guidance here before we begin. You'll see a countdown clock on the screen in front of you. Please aim to finish your statements before the time runs out so that I don't have to intervene. I will alternate which candidate answers each question first. So with that, let's get started. We'll begin with a 60-second response to our opening question, hearing first from Ms. Hull. Please tell us what motivated you to run for school board.
For the past 4 years, I've been on the ground as a Title I team member at Hunter Elementary, listening to families and educators and standing up for students. When school closures were on the table, I did my homework. I dug into data, testified at meetings, met with board members, and even traveled to Juneau to advocate for our district. That's the kind of commitment I'll bring to the board. I bring real-world experience as a mom of 6, a dedicated volunteer for the last 9 years, and a voice that already shows up. I'll focus on literacy, career pathways, and student-centered budgeting, always keeping our students at the center of every decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Burnett.
Thank you for the question. So what motivated me to run 3 years ago? I am the parent of 2 type 1 diabetics, and our schools actually had a lack of nursing staff, and I wasn't thrilled with our health nurse aides, even though they are great people. We need nurses in our schools, so that's kind of what motivated me to get into it to begin with. But now that I'm here and I have been involved for 3 years now, we've been dealing with a lot of deficits. We've done a lot of cuts. We've had to do a lot of things to bring some stability to our district. And now we have a brand new strategic plan in place that has been community-led. And I'm really looking forward to implementing this strategic plan and setting some achievable goals that will really bring forward some better educational outcomes for our students.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer.
Thank you for the question. I'm motivated to run for the school board because I am an Army veteran that moved to the Fairbanks community 28 years ago. I brought a family. Usually that's something that, number one, we look forward to when we bring our families to a state or a country. What is the school system like? I'm also an oil and gas engineer. I worked for the pipeline for 17 years. I am a pastor, and I'm a mom that raised 3 kids in a district that I thought did a phenomenal job for my children. I'm motivated to run because the school that my kids went to, elementary, to closed down. Year before that, the school on Allison Air Force Base closed down. So that motivated me to run because it was closed down abruptly. I know that our school board thinks that we were given an optimal time to grasp it, but at this time I had nieces and nephews that were going to the school. So that motivated me to run.
Thank you. Ms. Burnett, you will answer the next question first.
You forgot Naomi.
I'm sorry?
You forgot Naomi.
Oh. My apologies. We'll give you some extra time. How about that? Ms. Hewitt.
What motivates me to run for the school board is the school closures that are now leading to enrollment decline. I'm a mom and I want my kid to go to the best school possible. I was able to go to college and then go on to graduate and then go enter a trade, become a journeyman of my trade, telecommunications, and then now I represent my peers at the IBEW. I want to bring that same service to our community by solving problems, advocating for fairness, and making sure that people's voices are heard. Right now, high school is a hurdle for some kids instead of a ramp into our workforce, and I want to change that. I want to expand CTE classes that give everybody the opportunity to get to their future that suits them best.
Thank you. Okay, now moving on to our next question. Ms. Burnett, you will go first. If you're elected, how do you hope to positively impact the school board in your role in a nonpartisan manner? 60 seconds.
How do I plan to affect the school board in a nonpartisan manner? In the same way that I have been. Over the last 3 years, I have worked hard on decorum with our school board. If you remember school board meetings of the past, you know that they were filled with divisiveness, argumentative discussions that really, they did no good for our students, they did no good for our community. Over these past 3 years, we've had a better board, we've had better decorum, and we have reacted responsibly and with respect to one another. And so that's how I will carry forward if I'm reelected to the school board, is taking that forward and tackling our challenges. And as I had mentioned earlier, this new strategic plan that we have in place is really going to be a positive thing that this board will be able to do. And I'm looking forward to doing that with our good decorum and respect for one another.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer.
I think our board's been faced with challenges with the budget for some decades now. I think I could bring to the board many decades of budgeting experience. I have balanced budgets of more than $110 million. I have managed those budgets on projects as a project manager. I have learned how to reduce costs without hurting the end user. That's the teachers in the classroom, in this case it would be, and those students. And I also know how to be an advocate for those when we need to go to them and say, hey, we need to do some cuts. And we need to look at those end items that I don't think that the budget online that I've been pointed to say, we have looked at the budget when we cut. There's some end item things that are not projected on the budget that we see.
Thank you. Ms. Hewitt.
Thanks. I hope to positively impact the school board by bringing some of that workforce development and career technical education into the board. I have experience serving on boards in our community. One in particular is the United Way of the Tanana Valley that I really enjoy. I also serve as a health and welfare trustee for the Alaska Electrical Trust Funds that serves thousands of people in our state. And I am a product of our apprenticeship, and I know that this career and technical experience works. Kids start eliminating career paths by 3rd grade, so implementing something of the nature of career exploration early on, I think can help there. Thanks.
Thank you. And Ms. Hall.
Thank you. Two of the things that I would really love to positively impact in our school board is the expansion of our career and technical education program, giving more students the opportunity to have hands-on learning, as well as maybe increasing the opportunity as far as when students get to participate in that, as well as our growth in literacy, which coincidentally aligns with the Chamber of Commerce's advocacy plan and their agenda. And so those are some of the things that I hope to be able to impact for our community.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer, you'll begin the next question. As a school board member, how do you plan to listen and include the interests of the chamber and other local leadership in your decision-making? 60 seconds.
Well, one thing that I do like is that I read the strategic plan for the upcoming school board, and they have decided that they do want to have local businesses have more insight on what the school board does. So they're going to participate with them more. I also would like to include more partnership with the community in that way.
Thank you. Ms. Hewitt?
Thanks. I plan on continuing to attend the Workforce Development and Education Committee here at the Chamber. I think that's a great opportunity for me to be able to include the interests of the Chamber there, and through expansion of CTE classes, that elementary early exploration of careers that I was talking about, and implementing, or not implementing, but communicating that internship, the high school internship that's available, that many community members here at the Chamber already utilize to get kids experience and at least try out some careers before they completely write them off their list.
Thank you. Ms. Hall?
Thank you. In addition to wanting to expand the CTE program, one of the things that I really want to see happen is more innovative partnerships within our communities. I think it's important that we have more community buy-in in our schools. We also have different committees that our school district provides opportunities for community members to participate in. And I would invite people to continue to express their concerns to the different channels that we have, so that way we can make sure that we unify our resources to help our children and to make sure that they have all the opportunities that they need to continue in their different trades or higher education.
Thank you. And Ms. Burnett.
Thank you. I think every person up here has actually had some great ideas. Currently, as a school board member, I have worked with Les Nichols from Fairbanks Nissan to figure out ways to work with Chamber on expanding our partnerships there. I've also worked alongside another school board member, Ms. Julian, to work with partnerships in this community on tackling our lunch deficits that we have had within our schools as well. So not only will I continue on with those routes, but also with this new, we have a re-envision coming for our Hutch School, for Hutchinson High School. And with that, I look forward to tapping into our career and technical side and working with the plumbers and the pipe fitters, working with our electricians and our trades, and figuring out how we can expand those CTE programs inside that program at Hutch, so that we may invest in our children for the future and for their going into the workforce when they get older.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hewitt, you will begin our next question. How will you collaborate with local government and business to address the repercussions of the most recent school closures? 60 seconds.
That's not a lot of time. Well, I think always innovative solutions. We have a great idea could be to have a town hall where there's a two-way communication between community members and the school board and the district to build those relationships, share those ideas, and unify that cause. If there's one thing that everybody in Fairbanks and North Pole and Salcha and Fox and Esther can get behind, it is educating our kids. Everyone that I've talked to, childcare and education is at the top of their list for issues in our communities. And I can't wait to work with all of you in this room to make that happen.
Thank you. Ms. Hall.
Thank you. I think that it's important to note that as we understand repercussions of a decision, we have to understand why the decision was made. And I just want to share some interesting data for you. In 2002 to 2003 school year, our enrollment was 15,140 students. Last year, we had 11,800 students, which is a decrease of 3,340 students. In that same time frame, we opened not one, not two, not even three, we opened 6 schools. Consolidating where it makes sense allows us to better utilize our existing buildings and our limited resources on maintaining strong educational opportunities across the district. My priority is always to protect student learning, even when tough decisions are on the table. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Burnett.
Thank you for the question. I also struggle with the word repercussions, as through the decades of our schools, we built a lot of schools and our footprint has declined. And so it was more of a right sizing to fix our footprint that we have. But the way that we deal with this is with communication, collaboration, and with mindfulness to everybody in our community. How does this look for each school? How does this look for each family? What can we do to offer services to those families to help with the transitions? What can we do with local businesses to also reach out to those families and help in their communities where they are currently going to school to make it a better experience for them? I am proud to say that our schools have been very welcoming since this transition, and it has actually been a very smooth process. And so I look forward to being able to expand on that and being able to collaborate as well as we can with the community and any local businesses.
Thank you. And Ms. Spencer.
I think that the repercussions, it depends on who you talk to. But as far as collaborating with local government and businesses, because we know like their relationship is going to be different than how parents and students feel about it in our community. But again, we have to partnership with them we have a lot of children that have gone to homeschool, and that homeschool is also outside of the district. So we need to figure out a way to bring them back into the folds. And I think that in doing the partnerships like we talked about, I've heard some on the stage talk about doing CTE. Maybe we can invest in our youth and have them collaborate and do school to apprenticeship programs and things of that nature.
Thank you. And now we'll take a pause on our prepared questions, and we've collected some audience questions. We have time for maybe 2 or 3 of these questions. Please note that you have a 30-second response, each of you, to the question. Going first, we'll have Ms. Hewitt. There has been a lot of talk about ways the custodial contract could have been kept in the budget. What would you have cut instead of custodians to present a balanced budget to the assembly in the designated timeline? 30 seconds.
Well, I think there's not an easy answer to that question, but using innovative solutions to work with people to create creative schedules to maximize our custodial staff in-house while maintaining our student outcomes is the most important thing.
Thank you. Ms. Hull.
I know that it's not necessarily the popular thing, but I supported the outsourcing of the custodial. So I would have kept the budget as it's set, that's what I would have done.
Okay, Ms. Burnett.
Thank you for the question. Obviously, I'm one of the ones who made the vote on this, and that was because I spent 3 years on this board telling our custodians that this was a cut that was going to come, asking for solutions and asking for directions, and the direction that we got was to raise class sizes. The only other answer we have now is to increase class sizes. There are no other cuts. We have made the cuts.
Ms. Spencer.
Having worked as a contracting officer and having had a contracting contract, replace folks on a military installation that had to take care of schools and a hospital and understanding the standard of clean, I would not have approved that contract, but then also not knowing other things in the budget.
Okay.
I can't say what I would have approved, but I would not have gone contract for custodial contract.
Thank you. The next question is listed for specific candidates. So 3 of the 4 have been listed on this next question. So Ms. Hull, Hewitt, and Spencer, you're identified for this next question. And we'll begin with Ms. Hull. During your opening statements, you said that your motivation for running was school closures. If you were on the board facing a $16 million deficit, which schools would you have closed, or which services would you have reduced, if any? 30 seconds.
Well, I think it's important to clarify that I did not say that I did not support school consolidation. I think that given a past answer, I have demonstrated that school consolidation is necessary. Whenever school closure would be brought to the front, it would again be met with the same data-driven inquiry that I had into understanding why Hunter was on that list. And so I commit that I would spend hours diving into data and understanding the best for the entire school.
Thank you.
Students.
Thank you. Ms. Hewitt.
Thanks. I don't think it's a question of which school you would close, right? I said that the reason that I'm here is because schools closed, and now we're seeing enrollment decline because of school closures. So it's like a snake eating its own tail. And I want to end that and move forward in partnerships with our community, with our teachers, with our families, and with our students to grow our enrollment in spite of school closures.
Thank you. And Ms. Spencer.
And I echo that sentiment, but I also want to add that I was unaware, we were not made aware of what was going to be made of Midnight Sun until months later. But the fact is it was a thriving school. And there were a lot of people within my neighborhood who decided to homeschool. So they're a part of that 300 kids that the district lost. And so that's one of the reasons that.
Thank you.
I had it.
Thank you. And thank you, audience members. We will have another round in a few minutes for more of your questions. So last call for audience questions. The chamber staff will roam around and pick them up. Now moving back to our prepared questions. We'll be back to 90 seconds response from each of you, beginning with Ms. Hull. Considering the state and borough's ongoing education funding constraints, what would be your priorities for managing the budget and programs provided by our school district to ensure a quality education system?
Thank you. When it comes to balancing the budget, my top priority is protecting classrooms. For too long, we've increased class sizes to save money, but that puts more strain on both students and teachers. With the staffing crisis we're facing, I'm very concerned about teacher burnout and losing more educators. We need to find smarter solutions that support our educators and maintain quality learning environments. The school board this last year was given the opportunity to cut more from the administration, and they didn't. I would have increased that cut and looked for more opportunities to cut spending outside of the classroom, thus protecting the PTR.
Thank you. Ms. Burnett.
Thank you for the question. So my priorities would also be our classrooms, our teachers, and our students. I could not put one more child in a classroom. This board has gone through very difficult budgets. My priorities are actually going to be investment and innovation this time around. We have a brand new strategic plan that I am super excited about. I know I brought it up a couple times now, and that's because I am thrilled with the direction this goes. Between choice and investment and working with families and community, I think this is our golden opportunity to be able to put into our district the way our families want us to, which in return will help bring some of those families back to us. And I just want to make a correction there that we actually are not losing families because of our school consolidation. I have numbers for anybody afterwards who would like to discuss it, but we have a 87% in all of our schools that had closed for returning. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer.
My priority for managing the budget, I'm going to commit to transparency. I think we need to commit to making sure that our teachers have an open budget that they understand and they get to see. I know that transparency is not necessarily a good word to some that may sit on the board. The budget, like I said earlier, is not a budget on the school board website. That is not a budget that I'm accustomed to seeing. And like I've said, I've seen budgets of upwards of over $100 million. I'm talking a line by line item with the least impact to classrooms and students. So I'm glad that we've said that, we've acknowledged that up here, that that's what we want to do, because I don't think that that's something that we've seen in the past. And that's something that I would like to see. I would like to see the same classrooms with the same opportunities that my children and maybe many of your children had classes to attend. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Hewitt.
Thanks. My priorities for managing the budget while ensuring a quality education system for our children would be first and foremost to support our teachers and support staff. Our teachers' teaching or work environment is a student's learning environment. If those teachers are unhappy or feel like they're not backed by our administration or our board or our community, they're not going to stay. We have to focus on not only recruiting quality teachers, but retaining those teachers that uphold the goals that meet our district's strategic plan. And I know that we've talked a lot about innovation and partnering with our community, but that is what it's going to take. And I think that there are innovative solutions to boosting teacher morale that do not cost money, like flexible schedules and maybe having principals or administration come in and do scheduled leave so they can have more day off to do prep or even just a prep period. Those are the kind of solutions that we have to look for moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. And our next question, Ms. Burnett, you will begin. Apprenticeships and workforce development programs can provide valuable hands-on experience and help students explore potential career paths. How will you collaborate with local businesses and industries to expand and promote these opportunities? 90 seconds.
I know I'm gonna sound like a repetitive wheel here, but this goes directly to our strategic plan and with our access to choice pillar. We will be looking at expanding our schools into focus schools that start in elementary, and that will expand them in pathways into middle school and high school that will lead them into workforce development and into when they become adults and getting into the trades. And so specifically, we will work alongside our administration and our board to tap into our pipe fitters and tap into our electricians and our local trades to be able to collaborate and build upon our CTE programs to where we are graduating certificated pipe fitters, certificated electricians, and our students will then be able to graduate high school and start in those workforces making the good money that is required to pretty much live here in the interior, and that will keep our people here in the interior.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer.
Thank you for the question. My husband was one of the first career counselors that was hired at Northville High School for the CTE program, the very first CTE program. So he's very proud of the students that were the first graduates out of the Alaska Pipeline Academy. That's a great program, and it's still in existence. I'd like to see that program expanded to a lot of other high schools. What we need to do is make sure that we're partnering with our businesses, having school to apprenticeship programs, but also making sure that we have internships. But mind you, my husband's job also went away. That was cut too, one of the things that the board cut.
Thank you. Ms. Hewitt.
Thank you. I think I've touched on this a little bit already about high school being a little bit of a hurdle and how I think that we can really focus on not just high school, but in elementary as well on those career explorations. I'm a product of the apprenticeship, the electrical apprenticeship here in Fairbanks. I went to college, graduated college, got a summer job at the university, and then like a lot of us, I think, decided to stay after being here for a summer. I worked at UAF for 5 years and I couldn't pay off my student loans. So then I went into the apprenticeship and was able to pay off my student loans within 3 years and buy a house here in our community. And I understand that not everybody is going to join an apprenticeship, but I was pushed from high school that college was the only way. And I just want to expand that to let people know that there is more than higher education. There is higher education through things like an apprenticeship or on-the-job training at your local hardware store. I mean, all of that applies to what we need in our community, and that's good paying jobs that keep people here.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. And Ms. Hull.
Thanks. CTE excites me. I believe that we should start by giving students access to career and technical education earlier in their academic journey. The earlier they can explore hands-on skills and real-world pathways, the better prepared they'll be for life after graduation. Hutchinson High School is in a phase of revisioning and returning potentially to the model where it serves more students across the district. If that happens, It could open the door for many more students to benefit from CTE opportunities, and I would support that direction. I would support more community partnerships to make sure that our students are prepared for their future.
Thank you. And Ms. Spencer, we'll hear from you first on our last prepared question. What role do you see the school board playing in reversing out-migration trends and supporting community stability? 60 seconds.
I'm going to fall back on my old faithful transparency. I think that's the best thing that we can do, is just to make sure as a board that we don't see the word transparency as a bad thing. I think that'll bring that community stability back, because I think we've lost trust and we need to gain that back.
Thank you. Ms. Hewitt.
Thanks. The role I see the school board playing in reversing out of the out-migration trend is making sure that people who work in these quality jobs in Fairbanks stay here, keep their families here, and choose public education. For the folks who are choosing to homeschool, and especially homeschool out of district, I think we should try to find out why. Do exit interviews with teachers who are leaving our district, do exit interviews with families that are choosing to homeschool or have their kids out of district, because there's got to be a reason. And we have to find out what that reason is in order to reverse that trend. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hull.
Thank you. One of the things that we can do to in reversing out migration is better supporting our educators. That means reducing burnout, offering strong onboarding, fair compensation, and real paths for growth. We should actively recruit diverse candidates and expand programs like Ed Rising. And in our military connected community, we should ensure our pay structure recognizes the full experience of educators who PCS here, so we can attract and retain the high quality professionals our students deserve.
Thank you. And Ms. Burnett.
Thank you for the question. The role that the school board plays is exactly what many members up here are saying. We do these exit surveys. That's how we know that when we closed Pearl Creek last year, out of the 380 students who were attending that school, 343 came back. That's how we know that, because we have these surveys and we do ask those questions, and we do know why they leave, which is why it's really important to go back to supporting as a board the strategic plan as a whole, working with this community to make the pillars and goals achievable, targetable, and so in favor of those better outcomes that everybody wants. We all want better outcomes. We all want to see our students do well. And so it's investment, it's innovation, and it is ingenuity, and it is supporting all of those things as we work through them together as a board and as a community. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we have some more audience questions based on time. I believe we can have 2 or 3, and all of these questions are for each candidate. And so we'll begin backwards, beginning with you then, Ms. Burnett. How will you advocate with the legislature about the importance of education funding, and what BSA number do you think is necessary? 30 seconds.
Ooh, that's a tough one. So first off, I have spent my 3 years traveling to Juneau several times. Specifically this winter, I was in Juneau for 5 days, and then I turned around and I advocated in front of the House Education Committee, Senate Finance Committee, several times via Zoom, because I was invited back to discuss education funding and policy is so important to go into this. A number doesn't matter if we can't get policies that support all students into there. Do our districts need more? Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Hull.
I support advocating for stable and reliable education funding from both the state and the borough. One of the biggest challenges we face is the current funding formula, which is set by the legislature. It's important that we work with lawmakers to ensure the formula fairly reflects our district's needs, so we can provide consistent resources for students and staff. As a parent, I went to Juneau in February to advocate for funding. As a board member, I will continue the work I already started.
Thank you. Ms. Hewitt.
Thanks. So I've also been to Juneau a couple of times, and both times the number 1 and 2 priorities were to advocate to increase the BSA and return our teachers and public servants to a defined benefit pension that helps with retention and recruitment to our state for quality teachers. And if I had to put a number on it, I would say about 800 more.
Thank you. And Ms. Spencer.
I've been to Juneau twice, but only to the airport. But I have been to Department of the Army to advocate for our military and have gotten secured funding there. And I have also had to advocate for funding on the pipeline. And you know how hard it is to get funding from oil companies? And I've secured it.
Thank you. And our next question will just begin in that order we just ended. What are your plans and expectations working with the borough in school support and funding? Ms. Spencer, please begin.
Can you ask that question again?
Sure. What are your plans and expectations working with the borough in school support and funding?
I think that I saw where last year the borough bailed us out. I think it was with $2.7 million. I'd like to see us continue to have that type of support and that type of workmanship together. So I plan to keep that up.
Thank you. Ms. Hewitt.
Yeah, I think just building partnerships in our community. A lot of folks wear many different hats and are involved in a lot of other boards and communities. And I think that continuing that strong partnership with our borough and giving them the data that they need to be able to fund us with KIP grants is crucial.
Thank you. Ms. Hull.
I think one of the things that we need to make sure that we're doing is doing the capital improvement projects the way it's supposed to be designed. And then making sure that the borough, which their responsibility is the taking care of the building maintenance and making sure that they follow through with their end of the bargain and making sure that we have safe, secure, and functioning buildings for our children.
And Ms. Burnett.
Thank you. Yeah, I would like to work with the borough first on our relationship. I would say that the relationship between the district and the borough is slightly fractured, and I'd like to work on improving that, but then also working with our capital improvement plan that the borough has and getting some of our buildings into this project and being able to repair some of the things that we have going on within our buildings. And I think that we do that by working on our relationship with them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next question, Ms. Hewitt, will begin with you. 30-second reminder. If a community or business member wanted to help, how would you direct them for next steps to take, or what would you change so you could include community and or business members? 30 seconds.
I think that having a nonprofit arm that our businesses and community can help with directing funds to a specific issue. We saw it with the school lunch program, our community's outpouring of $80,000 to cover that debt. That's huge. We can come together for education, and I think that it's so important that we do because our kids are our future.
Thank you. Ms. Hull?
Thank you. I think that this is that adage of everyone can do something, and you don't have to have some grand plan to do anything. You can show up to a school and ask to help and be directed in a way that you can help. And maybe that's your local business wants to partner with your nearest elementary school, and you go to that school and you say, how can we help? And it might be an individual project. It does not have to be on the school district level in order to make good things happen in our community.
Thank you. Ms. Burnett.
Yes, I would first say go to our website, k12northstar.org. We have a great website where you can actually go and help and make donations there. You can actually put in to help, but also approach any of us board members, any member of the administration. We welcome everything and everyone. If there is a certain way you feel you can help, please send an email, call us. Our numbers are on our website as well. Reach out and we'll connect you to the appropriate channels to get that help where it needs to be.
Thank you. And Ms. Spencer.
I agree with all three. I, just as a lay member in the community, have been approached and approached schools with, I have a soap business and have gone into elementary schools and taught children how to make soap. So it doesn't have to always be financial or money. It could just be like a business that you want to teach kids, and I've enjoyed that. So I would direct them that way. If you have any type of skill or something that you want to go and teach the children.
Thank you.
That's what I would do.
And our last audience question, out of respect of time, is for you, Ms. Burnett. What was your success of your most recent term served? 30 seconds.
Oh man, there was a few things. I go back to the decorum piece and getting this board to where we are with the respect that we have shown each other and how we have worked together. This past year has been a very strong year for this board. Yes, we have had to do some very bad things, to make some very difficult cuts, but we did it with respect and we did it together and standing strong as a board. And that is everything that I dedicate to this from here on forward is that exact same thing.
Thank you. And that concludes our audience questions. We will now give each of you 30 seconds for closing comments, and we'll begin on that side. Ms. Hull of the table with you. Any closing comments that you'd like to share with the audience?
Thank you for being here today and for caring about our schools. I've spent the last 9 years volunteering in our district, and over the last 4, I've served as a Title I team member. I consistently show up, speak up, and advocate for students and educators. I lead with commitment, critical thinking, and a deep understanding of the challenges we face. I'm ready to serve with focus and heart, and I'd be honored to earn your vote on October 7th. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Spencer.
Thank you all for your time, and thank you all for being here. I am really passionate about this. I bring a lot to the table, but I don't like talking about myself. I'm one of those people that just likes to, I see a problem, I want to just tackle it. So I'd like to share a little bit about myself. In the intro, I said that I'm a mom that raised 3 kids.
Thank you, Ms. Spencer.
Okay.
Ms. Burnett, 30 seconds.
Thank you. I just thank everybody for being here. I'm a mom, I'm a coach. I've been a volunteer for over 18 years in our community. The past year on this board as the president, I've worked hard on our decorum and respect. We've implemented a brand new strategic plan, and I really now, with this new path forward and the stability that we have found, really look forward to investing and innovating in our district to get us through these next 3 to 5 years. It really is going to be a great 5 years with everyone's involvement. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Hewitt.
Yeah, again, thanks for being here today. Our district needs to grow. In order to grow, we have to solve problems. As a representative of my peers at the IBW, I solve problems, I fight for fairness, and I work with partnerships in our community to continue us moving forward. And I cannot wait to do that on the school board. I want to focus on teacher retention, student outcomes, and innovation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And before we give our candidates a final round of applause, the chamber has a few closing comments that they would like me to make. And so again, thanks to each of you for being here, running for the Fairbanks North Star Borough School District seat C and D. Again, thank you to Denali State Bank, who is the Political Forum's sponsor. Please join us on Thursday, September 18th for a ribbon cutting to celebrate the grand opening of Dwell in Alaska at 1637 Gillum Way. from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Chamber staff looks forward to seeing you all there. 8 Star Event Center will be the venue for the City Forum, which is next Tuesday. We encourage everyone to get registered to vote if you haven't already, and to take advantage of early voting, which opens on September 22nd. Election Day is October 7th, so be sure to make your voice heard. And lastly, if we could have a grand round of applause for all of our candidates. So Donald and Angie, I'm giving everyone about 5 minutes extra time today, unless Donald or Angie, you have anything else you want to say? Otherwise, thank you all for joining us. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week.
So if you want to do like college style? I know, right? I don't like that job. I like making people's job. Hold on, we're sucking it in, buddy. Yeah. No, we all are. That's why we're like, figure out what we want to do. We're like, do I want to Every now and then I get like that. But it's they're always a little bit. Yeah, all my online.